in our government here. It's the most embarrassing, hideous thing I've ever thought I'd see in my life. And I'm praying
that
it'll end.
Yeah, I'm still in awe that it continues to go on sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, our numbers are actually still quite good up here when it comes to the pandemic. And I think it's why Canada still has decided to continue to keep our borders closed. And you know, being so close, it's always easy for us to dip down and, you know, have a day holiday or a weekend holiday in the US and do things. But, it's probably for, you know, obviously the best. I was reading an article the other day, and it was about the numbers in Florida. And again, we don't really get too political on things, but I thought it was really strange that they were reporting that their deaths were at an all-time low, with only an increase of 6,000 people. And wow. I'm like, that's not how that works. That is, you're still up 6,000, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that's like marketing spin. So, you know what I mean? That's crazy.
It's almost like something that came from the man's lips himself. Like, it just didn't make sense.
Yeah. You know,
go ahead.
So I was just going to say, like, for us, you know, we have our own issues, of course, with our own governments and certain aspects of. Yeah. But I have to say, like, I'm pretty damn proud of how quickly we had a plan. You know what I mean? Like, that's how quickly I guess we all came together across the entire country. That was the impressive part. It was like our government was like, okay, we got to do this, this, and this. You know, we don't necessarily know if this is going to work, but we have to do something, and we have to do it together.
Yeah.
And everybody just kind of jumped on board. And I think that that having that leadership is just something that unfortunately you guys lack right now, and of somebody just to say, okay, you know, this might not work, but we're going to commit to this, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, our government denied it even existed. I mean, he was calling it a hoax and all this, you know, nonsense for months that could have been in there. And they don't look at the casualties as human beings. They look at them as collateral damage in a situation. You're just a statistic.
Yes.
Rather than there's a human behind every one of these. But so we're preaching to the choir here. Is there other stuff we would like to move on to? Because I could sit here because I'm kicked off of Facebook like constantly.
Well, and this is where my next question. My next question was
about 150 days a year.
So I remember seeing a video, and I think it was back in April, where originally you had, I would imagine, first kicked off this year, and you were quite upset about it. What was the circumstances behind it? Like, were you ever given a clear answer as to why you got put in Facebook jail?
Once in a while, I get them. I posted a question. All I did was pose a question. I've never said the president's, and I don't even want to call him the president but I've never even said his name. I've always used just a lowercase t, to designate him. But all of these guys to me are like complete scumbags. And, I just posted a question without threats or anything. And I said, what could have happened in Mitch McConnell's life to have him turn into such a vile and hateful creature? I was immediately blocked for bullying, posting hate, or promoting hate, and one other thing. And I was blocked for 30 days for just writing that question in there, which to me is a valid question, because to me, he's one of the most vile creatures that's ever sucked air. He is such a disgusting piece of shit. And, so I posted a question, and I'm kicked off for that. But I'm usually kicked off on an average of 150 days a year off of Facebook. And it's
what
usually
happened to freedom of speech, man.
That's exactly it. I was just about to say, what happened to freedom of speech? And, everybody seems to really talk about it, but clearly it doesn't really that way.
And I have trolls. I get death threats on Facebook.
Get out.
Where guys will write to me and they'll go, "We know your touring schedule. We're going to come get you." And sometimes I write back and I go, yeah, you're in the basement wearing your jammies right now, and your mom just brought you Ovaltine, and you're whacking off some shit video game. I'm really scared. Come get me.
The next time they say that, you should say, could you at least buy a ticket and that for your friends too?
Yeah, exactly. But, at one point, it's so ridiculous because my wife was in Florence, Italy, and went and saw the statue of David, took a photograph of it, posted it, and she was blocked for posting nudity.
Oh my God.
There's
not even anything to show.
Yeah, it's just staggering what that company represents, where there's certain aspects of it that I think are fantastic. I mean, I've hooked up with so many people over the years I've been on it, and I've got about 90,000 people on my page, and I just did a personal page. I don't really have a fan page, but I've hooked up with tons of great people, and we've shared all kinds of great things, and I've done album projects with people I've met on Facebook that we hooked up there, and then when it seemed legitimate, we moved on to emailing each other and left that format. But there's another side of it that's so dark and insidious to me that's just really ugly, and you really have to navigate carefully through all of this stuff, because I do have serious trolls, and I have a big target on my back. So, I'm always being I get attacked on it, but the amount of attack that comes at me is so small compared to the amount of people I think that are thinking and genuine human beings that get it.
Yeah.
And that's my hope for the future, is those are the kind of people that'll assume positions of authority and power, and we can reverse this downward spiral that we're in right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, I definitely feel like
everything comes back to this.
I definitely feel like you're doing an amazing job, and that you should continue doing what you do and being you. I definitely wouldn't. I wouldn't change a thing, because you're really doing good work, and you
thanks.
You
Man,
clearly
really
have a good mind on your shoulders. So I don't feel like anything that you're saying is incorrect at any point. So,
well, a lot of people aren't. They'll go with the flow, or they won't challenge the status quo. So the fact that you're bringing things to light, and you're challenging things, it's good to get people thinking. I think a lot of people forget to have their own opinion. They just they go with whatever mainstream media is throwing out there, and it's good to challenge these things once in a while.
Yeah.
Well, I get these people, they'll start saying, he only wants people on his page that agree with him, kind of thing. And that's the farthest thing from the truth. But, I like diversity. I like dialogue, and I like other people's opinions, because that's how you really can, disseminate what's going on. But the real problem is I don't want people coming to my page that are going to quote like Sean Hannity and Rush Limbaugh and Fox News as their information source, because that stuff is complete bullshit. And, you're not going to have a reasonable dialogue under those circumstances. So I tell those people to go away and come back more informed with some actual facts, like the people that are, they're almost still like flat earthers. They still don't believe the earth is round. And, you're dealing with some pretty stupid, people that have just enough brain power for basic respiration, and then it stops.
Yes. Yes. Well, I feel like Dr. Seuss said it best in this case, where unless someone like you who cares an awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's true.
Well, I mean, we're hopeful. I mean, I'm hopeful for humanity. I'm hopeful for our country. I'm hopeful for everything, because if you give up hope, then, why even bother at that point? So I'm just going to keep striving towards that. But as far as like, getting back to music and all that stuff, I'm just real hopeful for the future, because like when I talk to my bandmates and everything, and everybody's so anxious to share music and get it out there, we're just, but we want to do it safely. We did a live stream, and we're going to do we're going to film another concert, but then not do it as a live stream. We're going to make it so it's available over a period of time, because of all the time zones in the world. It's difficult for people to join a live stream sometimes.
Yeah.
But, but it's, everybody's just so hungry to share their music and their art with people again, because that's really one of the most uplifting things a human being can do, is sharing in that unique quality that really sets us in a unique space in the animal kingdom. And so it's frustrating right now, but I'm really looking forward to it. So we're moving forward as best we can under the circumstances.
Yeah. You know, we were talking with Scott Page not too long ago, and they've been doing some amazing things, with their kind of virtual music and stuff like that. And that might be another thing I've noticed, because I have an Oculus Rift and Matt does too. It's quite interesting that you can see the amount of people that are now starting to kind of go with that VR way, so that you can still be at a concert, even though you're no longer there. So you can still participate in that. Yeah, exactly. And all the people that are doing like a cappella videos from that app, and people that never really had a place to kind of show what they do, suddenly there's an audience because everybody's kind of glued to their virtual world. So people are doing things. The funny thing is there's so many videos that have suddenly appeared, like two young guys that were watching In the Air Tonight. They're watching all these different videos, and I just saw another one with like 5 people today seeing it for the first time. And I think now on the charts, I think like In the Air is like number 2 on the charts. It's totally come back again. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. I talked to Phil about it the other day, and he's just kind of sitting, just going, "Wow."
Yeah,
pretty far out.
I bet you he wasn't expecting that at all.
No, not at all. I mean, it's amazing what can happen. But the fact that so many people are creating, music and stuff now I'm finding it fascinating just watching everything that's out there. And that's one of the positives that's come out of this situation, which I think at the end of the day, when there is finally maybe a vaccine and people get serious about, taking the vaccine, when it is a safe one and not just something that's been thrown out, as let's try this and see what happens.
Yeah.
But I think people will start looking at what their life became like this. And there's probably a lot of things you could get out of your life now, and you go, geez, that used to seem important, but without it, it isn't that important. And I think I'm just going to do something else. And there could be very positive things that at the end of the day come out of this, even though it's coming out of a lot of misery and terrible situations. So it's a real, it's a balancing act as to what's good and what's bad.
Yep. Well, hopefully, as they say, what doesn't make us, doesn't kill you, only makes you stronger in the end. So, I hope that is.
It's cool that you guys were talking to Scotty, man. Scotty's like always been at the forefront of technology, and beyond being a great sax player and a great hang, I love Scotty.
Yeah.
He's always, been right up there at the front of the line.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. He's such an amazing individual, and has.
He was a blast to have on the show. Yeah.
Yeah. And
that's cool.
Yeah, actually, I think we just didn't have enough time with him, so we're
we had so many
so
many questions.
Yeah, it is. It's quite crazy. Speaking of questions, actually, how about we get into the second part of our show, and we have our rapid fire questions with Matty G.
Let's do it. All right.
Rapid fire questions.
All right, here we go. I'm going to ask you some questions here. If you don't know or don't want to answer, just say pass. And question number 1.
Or just lie. Or just
lie.
Sometimes that's fun too. we won't call you out on it.
Okay.
Question 1. What made-up word would you register into the English language?
Geez. Oh, wow. That's not rapid fire. That's pretty interesting. I can't even answer that. Arm penis.
Arm penis. There we go. Man, that guy's such an arm penis.
Perfect. You can use it in any context.
It's true.
Okay, question 2. What is the scariest dream that you can remember?
When I was a child, I was deathly afraid of spiders, and I used to have this reoccurring dream that I was behind the garage in my house, and along the wall and the roof of the garage was all spiders, and they jumped on me and were all biting me. And I believed that when they would bite you, you would float away into the sky, and that's where you would die.
Wow.
That is terrifying.
I don't mind spiders now. That was a tough one to get over, though.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
If you could pick a superpower, which